It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader at techtrader.com. It's the 1st of July. This is the weekend webinar. Very strong week. Markets, as you can see from the S&P 500 chart, have surged back from the pullback we had the week before and had a pretty darn good week, going from a low of 43.28 to 44.58 and finishing just 8 points off the high. Very solid week for the S&P. And you can see the S&P is now at a lateral price resistance, but more importantly, channel top resistance. Nevertheless, if there's a fifth wave blow off, and this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, this could be a long fifth wave with a 1, 2, 3, maybe wave 4 developing if it doesn't go quickly here. But if it does blow off, we could see 44.95 to 45.10, as high as 46.05.15, something like that. Those are my potential targets for the S&P. And on the downside, you can see, by the way, the gap we had on Friday, which you don't see too often leads to more upside, especially on a breakout. So it's going to be important to see if there's any kind of follow through early next week. And don't forget, Monday's a half a day, so it won't be meaningful, but Wednesday will be. Tuesday's an off day for 4th of July holiday. Nasdaq 100, even more powerful. Look at this move from the January low of 10,771. We reached 15,000, nearly 200. A huge move for 1 year. As a matter of fact, the largest percentage gain for the Nasdaq 100 in 40 years for the first half of the year. So pretty intense. 1983 was the last time we had that kind of move. So are we extended? Sure. Can we have more upside momentum to take this higher? Absolutely. Until this thing turns around, that's what we're getting. Right now, the trends are fed. The trend says 15,600, even as high as 15.9, something like that, are possibilities short term, and we'll see. Now, how did the other indices react? Well, the IWM, which was trailing, did have a good week as it bounced off support. It ran up every day last week. It did back off resistance at 189. We get through that, we're looking at 194.5 and 199 to 201 in that range. Transportation index had a very good week. As you can see, the last couple of weeks, these things really come out of the coil, popped the resistance from the little wedge, broke out, and is at a resistance level of 15,650, reaching as high as 15,580. Not quite there yet. The targets for next week, 15,650, and if it spikes, 15,885.88. Right up there. So we just have to see what the market wants to do. But right now, after a 5-wave decline on the transportation index and a breakout, it then came down from the coil. But that held multiple times out here, broke out, and now we're we're trending again. So I like to look at the transportation, not so much the IWM, but it's getting better, still basing, while the Nasdaq 100 powering ahead and the S&P 500 as well. But the NDX is a real leader. And if you take a look at the stocks I'm going to show you in a moment, you'll see why. Before we get there, where is the oscillator? How overbought? Well, my friends, it is plus 94. Got up to 134 and pulled back. So 134 is the highest level we've seen since April. The last time we got up to the 180.90 zone, which is where I think we can become much more oversold. Somewhere between that and 240, up in that zone would be more overbought. You can see each time we reached up there, and there, we came down. So, but we have had several occasions where the market got right to where it was Friday, in here, and pull back. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they get a follow through or we're done. So stay tuned on that. And the amount of stocks above their 40-day moving average really solid at 66. That's 2 out of 3. But normally, real overbought gets up in the 80, 85 range. So I'm not saying we're not overbought enough, but I think that might be the case until we get up in towards 80, 85. The VIX, just a moment. The VIX index, I'll get it. You can see it's all the way down now to the lowest level we've seen in the VIX since the very end of 2019. So it's a 3-year low, and we're getting more apathetic. Certainly not necessarily historic, because we were down in the single digits, 89. Right now it's 1359. But it's getting to a point where this is getting near a completely apathetic or sold level on the index itself versus T210 percentage of stocks over the 40, which is up in the upper end of the range and near overbought, with the oscillator getting overbought. So maybe a couple, 3 more days down, or we can back off right in this range. But I'm not sure what the market's going to do. This is a very difficult call. What I can tell you is that we're close to enough of an overbought market to get a more substantial pullback, and it could happen as early as Monday, Tuesday. We'll see. So that's a look at that. And now some of the ETFs that we follow closely. But before we do that, just a quick look at the Nasdaq generals. Apple. You can see why Nasdaq's leading. Check out this chart on Apple. In January, Apple was 124. Here we are, 194, 70 points. A huge percentage move for Apple for a large cap stock, reaching $3 trillion in capitalization, first stock to ever do that. Amazon, certainly in a beautiful rising channel and continuing, and I don't think it's done anywhere near done. 135.6 and 140, 143 up at 44, something like that could be a target going forward if we get any kind of market blow off for Amazon. Google hasn't been great of late. You can see with a lot of the other ones running, this is backed off in a very orderly channel, and it's taking Google for 129.55 to 116 and change, about 13 points, but it's a very orderly flag type pattern. And if you look at this as a triple bottom base breakout and platform coil breakout, it's a 1, 2, 3, and it's going to be a beautiful wave 4 flag, which means wave 5s are coming. 137, 145, 149, all possibilities if we get a major market run. Microsoft, in a beautiful rising channel, it has been since the bottom in November and a retest in January. It's been in a long uptrend after recently reaching 350, 147, a new nominal new all-time high. It backed up, but it looks to me now that a target might be 367, 66, 367. More to come, we'll see. Netflix, powerhouse, doing great, and after pulling back for a couple of weeks, it's coming on again. We get to 440, 445 or so, 442. That'll be 448. Resistance at 448. We get through that, looking at 490 and even 540, 545 are longer term possibilities. What a wonderful chart if you're getting crushed. From near 700 all the way down to 160 some odd. It's come way back into the 440s. What a run. As good as that looks, look at Meta. 88 to 288. That's a pretty amazing move. And yet, don't see any signs of deterioration technically or trend-wise. Next target, 315 and 340. No kidding. Only, can we get this kind of a market blow-off? That could happen. NVIDIA. Certainly a powerhouse move too, having gone from like 100, so it was the low in October. Let's see, 108, folks. One of the biggest performers we've seen all year for a stock this expensive. Go from 108 to 437. Yes, that's 300%, fourfold. In about 8 or 9 months. Pretty amazing move. And do you see a top? I do not. Resistance 444.5, target 490 to 500. And Tesla had a great week as it bounces from 240 to 264. Currently coming out of a week-long pullback. Right there, formed a wedge and broke out. Target 300. So you can see with basically the look at those Nasdaq generals are very powerful and still lead the market. What about the major ETFs that we follow closely? Well, semiconductors, look at the SMH. Came down, wasn't looking great. Boy, did this come on again. And now we have this pattern, which tells me we're headed to 159, give or take. Financials obviously weren't terrible, but they had a pretty good Thursday, Friday. Now watch carefully this level on the FA. I said, we get over 65, I think you're going to see 69, 73, 4, something like that. And obviously trailing the others because of what was going on with the banking crisis, but kind of rectifying itself. But I'm not pleased with the XBI. This was having such a nice run up, but it did have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move and got the resistance. So the pullback to a fib placement or in price support wasn't unexpected, but I don't want this under 82. That would be a stop for me. We're pretty close now. And resistance now is 84.5, 5, and 87, 88. The LABU, which many of you follow, because we used to follow it rigorously, also with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 way move and a pullback right near support. Love to see this not get below 565, 67. Resistance and target 6.5, 7.5. So that concludes my look at the indices, the underlying technicals, the Nasdaq 100 generals, and some of the ETFs, except I do want to just check on oil and gold, GDX. You can see that the big uptrend in gold went into a 1, 2, 3, and then a 4. So if this is correct, and we did bounce Thursday, Friday, then the angle of ascent's changed a little bit, something more like that. But I'd still be looking for a rebound in gold. It gets me back to 31, 32, 33 zone is resistance. That's your next target. If you look at Nugget, you'll see similar pattern. All the gold ETFs have come down and pull back into it looked like somewhat of a channel break. Now that I look at this one more time, if I redraw this properly, we may be bottoming in this area on wave 4. Wave 5 can be huge, but keep your eye on Nugget, JNUG, GDX, and some of the gold ETFs as well. Silver, similar, maybe even holding up a little bit better, although it did come down in a 1, 2, 3. This is a large 1, 2, 3, and then this is wave 4, and it's a 3-wave corrective affair, at least for now. The target is 40 or better from 27 over the next few weeks and months should silver take off. And silver is actually acting a little bit better than gold here, so I'm going to be watching those groups very carefully. Oil, well, the USO still doesn't look great to me, although it's stabilizing a little bit in here. If that's a bear flag and it comes down, we're headed to the mid-50s. I don't know if that's the case. And anything above 66.25 would be technically a breakout and could lead to a move to 68 and even 71 too, where I think there's much bigger technical resistance. Again, so it's time to look at some stocks. We have a lot to cover. I really had to pare this list down. There were so many. But here's what I'm looking at. Airlines have really come on nicely. Take a look at American Airlines. It's broken its long-term declining top line. This goes back 4 or 5 years. Now, a new high over the high in January means this is the highest level since May of last year. A 52-week high for the airlines. Are you kidding me? How about Delta? Even better. Look at that move. Highest level in 2 years for Delta. You can see there is resistance above target 52 for Delta and 21.22 for American Airlines. AAOI with semiconductors doing well. This one's a rocket ship. Having gone from under 2 to Friday's high of almost 7. As you can see, the big 2-day pullback here held support and it bounced. And now my target's near 9. ABCM in the biotech sector came out of a beautiful base and went vertical. The move that took this from 16 to 25 and change is to put it in a little bit of a vulnerable position. I'd like to see some consolidation. But note, it's a new all-time high. Archer Aviation, with Joby and Archer moving, they were very volatile. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th wave began, but I don't know if it's going to double top or run to 5 3/4, 6.5 range. We'll get to Joby a little later. ACVA. You can see this consolidating after a nice run. This is another software stock. And the target now is 21.22. AEHR, one of our favorites, and has done very well for us. Folks, there was a nice pop on Friday. It didn't hold it, and it got to resistance and backed off, so I'm not surprised it backed off. But right now, what you really need to do is get through 44, 44 and a quarter, and then I'm looking at 52.3, potentially. AI, while everybody's playing AI, you can see the 1, 2, and a 3. I'm not sure if this is consolidating in a way forward. It's going to blow into the 60s and 70s at some point, but your target now is a retest of the 48, 8.5 areas for the next target. AMAM, tech trader swing, pop, falling wedge, pop, coil. We put a swing on it and it slowly moved up, but it has moved from the April pullback low of about 7 1/4 to get up to more than doubling, with Thursday's high at 1664, a new 2-year high. Next target, 22.3. Well, there's 19.20 and 22.3. APLD swing, popped out, ran up, pulled back, tested the moving average, and spiked right back up again. However, it's got to get through 12 and a quarter for a target of 17. APP, long downtrend, extending bull coil, breakaway gap, flag. We put a swing on it, ran up to target number 1, pull back. It's headed for 2, I believe. That would be a 28.9. And how about this chart on Arlo? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down, base breakout coil, flag, another coiling, flagging type consolidation and a breakaway. At least we should see 12, probably 14. ATEC, tech trader swing and a long-term swing, broke out here, ran up, flagged, and popped again. I like this look for a move to 22.3. AUR breaks out of a base, pops, forms a wedge. I put a swing on it. It's been running. In fact, it was up the last 4 days in a row. The targets are 330, 385, and 5. AVDL, Avidel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move. Nice spike off the June 22 lows. We saw it get down around $1 and then went up to about 7. That took time to consolidate, but eventually it's moved up again. It's flagged again, and it broke out again. Friday's pop of 9.5% to 16 1/4 tells me we now have designs on 19. Azul, South American Airlines doing well. The inverse head and shoulders on Azul continues to give, and this stock looks like a $15.5, $16 stock. BLBD, a bluebird in the automotive field. Inverse head and shoulder breakout, retest, pop, falling wedge, orderly, explodes, wedges, and popped again on Friday. I'm looking for a retest of 28.9 and eventually mid-30s. BTBT, with Bitcoin and the crypto realm doing much better. This one broke out a couple months ago, and now it keeps running at a beautiful rising channel. It wasn't a good day Friday, but I like this for 5 3/4 and 7 eventually. Kaba, big run up from last October lows, where it was trading at 50 cents to get it all the way into the low teens at 12 3/4 to 88. And it took a few months of consolidation, popped out and retested, popped up again. It's right up against key long-term resistance. Should we get through that, this could really go into the high teens, low 20s. CBay, big pop Friday, and that pop took out about 2 months of consolidation, pullback, falling channel. A big explosive $3.33 or 42% move came on Friday, right to the prior high from April. I'm now looking for extension to 13.5 minimum. CCL, while the big inverse head and shoulders and extension of the base broke out right there, and it moved from 12 to nearly 19 and closing at the upper end of the range. Really nice chart. My targets are 20.5 and 22.5. Tech trader swing, Cogent, popped here, coiled. We put a swing on it. It took its time. It finally extended, ran from 4 to 6. Target 7.5. Cocoa has been a beautiful rising channel ever since its spike low in November when it reached down under 8, and then nearly quadrupled to almost 30. 29.70. I don't think it's done yet. My extension target is 32.3. Core from the May low of 26.29 to the June high of 52 nearly. The stock has doubled. It's pulled back down to wave 4 and started wave 5. I'm not sure how far they can take it. I estimate maybe mid-60s. Cody, a gorgeous chart from the $6 low in October, November, reaching 12 3/4 and double topping there. But it moved through here, we're looking at mid-teens. Carvana, long downtrend, finally reversed here, coil, pop, coiling again. Or at least that's what that looks like to me. A move over 29.5 could get me to mid-30s and then low to mid-40s, ultimately 44 target. CYT exploded on Friday, and it did it with big volume. I'm looking for a move to 4 1/4. That could be a swing. It is a swing. DAL we talked about, DBI we didn't, but this is a big drop back from 19 down to 6, only to finally show me a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave decline, climax reversal, breakaway gap, rising flag. Targets are 11 and 13. DraftKings Tech Trader swing broke out. Here, again, there has a 1, 2, and a 3, 4. I believe wave 5 is underway. It will be starting with targets of 30 and 34. One of the best charts of the year. In 52 weeks, this stock goes from 21 to 116. How about that for a move? And each time I look at this chart, I keep saying to you, it doesn't look done yet. It doesn't. Target 128.30. ELTK exploded with a gap, wedge, popped, rising flag, finally gave in to some profit taking, and it pulled back to support. I still believe that the overall pattern is going higher. Target is 11 3/4. ENVX pop broke out. We put a swing on it. I like this look. I think we're headed to 21. ETNB's been on a tear for a year now, having gone from 2 to 20, nearly 23. Call it 12-fold. It's a little extended, but it doesn't look bad. And it doesn't look done, does it? Should it come out of here? And it did reverse on Friday. It targets to 23 and 26. EXTR, beautiful rising channel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up and then down. That's a 1, 2. This is a 3, 4. Fifth wave started. Fifth wave takes us to 33, 34. EYPT, beautiful double bottom, pop out, falling wedge, and breakout. There is resistance at 10. It targets 10 and 15 if it goes. FNGR with a wonderful swing from 209 to 445 in about a week. Great trade for us. And then the pullback of about 0.375, 40% type pullback. If we has any kind of move here, we're looking for 5 and 6.5. FREY, big breakaway gap on Thursday, inside day Friday, my target's 11.5. GE, what a wonderful chart. Double bottom breakout, pullback, and then a rising channel all year. That's basically taking it to 110, folks. 110 from a low of 48. Is it done yet? I can see 130, 140. Another South American airline, GOL, breaks out of a base and keeps running, takes out resistance. And this is a big one too, right across there. Double bottom of that top, and we took that out. I'm now looking for 6.5 and 7.5. HEAR, triple bottom brace breakout. I put a swing on it. It's been coiling for a couple, 3 months now, so it really hasn't done much, but it hasn't gone down. It hasn't broken support. The next targets are 13, 13 1/4, and 14 3/4, 15. Icosavax, monster run in December. Literally went from 3 and change and exploded in a couple days to 16.5 before backing way off. It's come on again. It's flagging now. Any move above 11 could get it, ribbon it to 16, 17, 18 range. Immunogen exploded, coiled. We put a Tech Trader swing on it around 12 3/4, I believe. It's made it up to 2029, and it doesn't look done. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a fifth wave target mid-20s, right there. Powerhouse. IMNM, after a long base, broke out Thursday and pulled back Friday, but I like this for a swing to 10 and 12. It's very thin. Intel broke out. We put a swing on it and pulled back on a 3-wave corrected. Then exploded again to a new high. Got up near resistance to the gap, backed off. Holding support right now. Your next target, 37.5 and 41. INTT with a wonderful chart this year has gone from the 5-6 range all the way to the mid-20s. And if I don't miss my guess, it's a kind of stock that could just continue to go into the 30s and low 40s. IONQ, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a consolidation. Fifth wave turned out to be great as it popped again. This is a tech trader swing, and recently went from under 9 to near 15. Beautiful chart. Next target, 17. IoT broke out. We put a swing on it, and then back to fill for a couple months. It broke out again. It's not by pullback again. I think the stock heads higher, 31.5 and 37.8 are targets. Joby's the other aerospace company we did very well with as it broke out of the head and shoulders. Put a swing on it, I believe, in the 5 range, and it more than doubled to 12 nearly. Pulled back on Friday, but an inside day. If this continues, we might see 14, 15. KC, long uptrend, but it went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a spike on fifth, and then a big pullback. But it broke out on a V bottom right-handed extension, popped again, pulled back as a wedge for me. Looks pretty good to me. Targeting 8.5, 9.5, and 12. Candy, something we used to trade with a long time ago. I haven't seen much going on here, but recently, look at that channel. That's taken it from about 2.25 to 4.25 with a target of 5.25. Copen, a beautiful 1-year base, explosive type move, and now a beautiful wedge. If it doesn't break down and starts to move with line, it gets above 225.40 in that area. We're going to see 3.25 and 4.5, I think. LI in the Chinese automotive group, electric vehicle automotive EV. Pop, we put a swing and formed the flag and kept running. Now I have a target of 39.40. LSPD, I believe the light speed after a long downtrend is ready for reversal. Broke out of a base, pulled back to test the moving average and trend line, which is just created. Now I'm seeing that as your trend line, which gives me a target about 18 and then 20. Macy's, I'm showing you this because after a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave decline, a left shoulder, head, and right shoulder was formed. If Macy's takes out the neckline at 16.50, 355, targets are 19.20 and 24.5. That could be intriguing in a possible swing trade if I see that move coming. Mara, long 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5th waves underway. Should get or could get up to 17 to 18. MEDS, base, explosive breakout, pull back, fill the gap, and form a wedge. Watch this next week for a move over 15. Then I'm looking for a 19 and 23. MLTX exploded, surge, and has a 2-day inside kind of a mini pennant forming. Boy, does this look like it could be 70 or 80. MRAM, nice base after a long decline. Pops, breaks out, and pulls back and retests the breakout point, and then pops on Friday. You can see Friday it got all the way up to almost 10, 9.99. And the support now is 9.25, but there was targets of 11.25, 12. MRVL exploded, pulled back. We put a tech trader swing on. It hasn't done much except continuing to form a wedge. When and if it goes, 68 and 77 targets. Enable, NABL symbol. That is a information technology company. Pop wedge, pop falling wedge, pop another one, more of a coil. But either way, despite the multiple waves, I think it goes higher, 15 and 18 targets. NEO, base, breakout, falling wedge, and another one. Keep an eye on this one. I think it gets 19.20 and then 24.5. NERV, long downtrend. A long downtrend. Finally, base broke out and flagged, but Thursday it really exploded on big volume. My target is a double top at 15 and a quarter and a half. Nanox, one of our better swings this year. Pop, pull back. I gave you a swing on it. I think it was 9.75. And within 4 weeks, it was trading at nearly 23. Now the pullback falling wedge at support. Needs to hold here ideally. I would say your stop on this one under 13.75, 14. The targets are 20, 21, 22, maybe mid to high 20s eventually. NVT, base breaks out of a base, forms a flag, pops and forms a wedge. And then goes really nicely moved from 40 to 52. Target 59.60. Navitas, another junior semiconductor on the run. There's a 1, 2, 3, and the pullback retest. And then another nominal high and pullback. So it's in a rising configuration. I have a magnet target 11.75. Open, another real estate firm in good shape, breaks out. Last week was a big week for it. The highest level since September. My target now is up here, 6. Oric, another biotech breaking out, coiled, popped, pulled back. Could be an entry opportunity. My target is up here now, 11.75. Overstock. Oh, this swing worked out great as it popped out. We put a swing on it, pulled back for a couple of days, and then went vertical. In the last week, 22.39 to 32.10 points. And I mean, can you spell short squeeze? That's what this is. It may not be done. I can see the stock trading at 35.6 quickly. PACB upgraded by Goldman Sachs next week. The stock is doing much better. It's in a setting bull coil, but the key is going to be, can it get above 14.30? And then you're looking at, I think, 17.18. PESI, a wonderful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a pullback. Now a large coil with a flag at the apex. You break out above 12.85, 16 is your target. PETQ, long downtrend, nice base, breakout, wedge, breakout, little flag, target 17.95, 18, and 24.5. Palantir, another one after a long decline. They popped out. It's a high volume zone pattern and it consolidated. Again, a breakout, wedge, an explosive move, and it continued to go. Literally going from 7.25 to 17.25, 10 point before pulling back. Right now, the pullback held there, that's your stop. But the target is more of a parallel channel now. I'm not kidding when I think 1920 may be doable. Love this chart on PPSI, long downtrend, base, breakaway move, beautiful coil, pop flag, pop flag. I think we're going to see 11 to 12 at a stop. PRST breaks out of a base, is up against resistance. But the next target is going to be 9 if it can get through here with any kind of energy. Could be explosive. Quinterex, base, breakout, wedge, pop, wedge, and then flag. So I'm not sure if it has more to go because if it does get through 24, it might be quickly high 20s. Speaking of quick, base, breakout, flag, and pop, and I mean sharp move. 11 and 12.75 type extension targets. Our CEL breaks out, flags, pops, big retest. But it created a new rising channel, came right back. Get this one above 17.90.18, looking at 22. Redfin, pop, pull back, when it broke out, we put a swing on it, followed through and then backed off. Still looking for eventually a run to 22. First target, 17.5 in that range. Rig, well, this oil driller from nasty decline into 22,000 and getting under $1. It's back into the 7s. But look at the run up in January, February, and then the multi-month call. We broke out big time Friday. Now looking for 7.85 and 9.85. Riot and Mara both moving. You can see that I mentioned Mara earlier. Riot now with a 1, 2, 3, 4. Should he get up above, and this is going to be key for it, above 12.75, 13. Looking for 14.5 at 17. RMTI from a little bit of a base and broke out and then coiled. That's why I put a swing on it. Friday was a fortunate day for us as it jumped $1.15 to 25% in one day. My target 7.25.5. RNLX, big decline, ran up and pulled back and from the wedge, triple quadruple top breakout when it got across 265. Did that on Friday with a pop that to go from 259 to 365. It finished at 313. Targets are 3.75 and 5. Rio Ant, which is the top 20 pick for the year, made a nice move and it pulled back sharply with held support. Came back famously. It seems to me the kind of stock that's going to be 11.75 and 14 eventually. RXST flagging from 6 weeks, broke out Thursday, had an inside day Friday, but I'm looking for 34. RXT broke a 5-wave decline, a nice orderly channel. That saw this pattern break there and flag, pop, and form a channel up. Here's the rising bottom line. The channel was broken Friday with a strong thrust, as you can see. A breakaway and a break close above that tells me we go to 3.5 and 4.5. SDYX exploded in March, literally went from $1.20 to almost $4, and then had a long 2-month decline. Popped out and flagged, and that's what it's doing now. I'm looking for a move if it takes out 310, get up to 388, and then 5. SDGR has been a beautiful rising channel. It popped in a wedge, it popped and retested the top of that wedge, and then went again. I'm targeting 55 and 60, 61. SGH in the semicon group, beautiful run, and it's still going. The April low was 1431, and here it is doubled over 28. My target, my momentum, 637. Shopify breaks out of an inverse head and shoulders and pulls back, works its way slowly higher, breaks away. Ascending bull wedge tells me we go to 70 and 78. SMCI is one of the stars of the year, stars of the last 2 years, but just, and because this is AI related, it's gone from 72 to 270, gaining 200 points just since February. Formed the wedge and it's breaking out again. I don't know where they take this, but this looks like a $300 stock. SOUN, nice little steady run until Thursday when it reversed, but it reversed right back up on Friday. Optimistic that this takes out 5 and runs to 7. SOXL, semiconductor double, triple bull, looking awfully good here. A little bit of resistance, but I'll tell you what, I like this chart. If it breaks out here, we're looking at 39 and 45. SSYS is definitely a takeover. It's a question of who and how much. My theory is 21 is the target. SYM, beautiful run from the November low last year of under 9 to a high in the mid 50s. A 5-fold increase. They pulled back last week and bounced. But be careful, you got to use that as a stop under 36.5. TBLA popped wedge and popped again. It's the top pick for the year, then came down and popped again. I'm looking for this stock to make a move above 340 and run to 4, 4.25, 4.5. TDC, Teradata, broke out, coiled, popped again, formed a little flag, and then took off again. It just continues to go at resistance here, but your next target is 60. TGLS, take traded swing when it broke out last November in the high 20s. It's made it into the low to mid 50s. I'm still looking for more 55 and 62 targets. TGTX breaks out of a base, popped, we put a swing on it. I believe it was around 9 3/4, 10. It made it into the mid 30s. It's coiling. Not sure if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but either way, it looks juicy enough to say, even though there's resistance up here, the next target is 33 and then 39. TOP with an explosive Thursday, Friday is at resistance, but your next target, if it has any extension at all, it would be 13. The QQQ along with the SOXL looking very well for the tech stocks. This is the Nasdaq 100 chart, ETF, I should say. Now that we've gone through there, my target is 47 and 50. Unity Software popped the wedge, popped, pulled back to the apex, and then popped again. Support 39, resistance 45, target is 47.5 and 50. Uber continues to look good, but it did finally back off my target, which is 45, reaching it almost exactly. Next target is 48. Upstart, what a beautiful breakaway gap, pullback retest, moving averages crossed over. It just went vertical, backed up for a couple of days, they went again to the next target, backed up again, held support. My next target now, 49.5, 52. BIST and the all good has been steady all year and rising all year, and there's no looking back on this one, 26.5 to 28 targets. BRRM, check out this long multi-year base. Breakout, rising channel, popped to near 20 on Friday. All-time high. Why not go higher? 22, 24. VRT. Testing is 21 high. If it gets up towards 27, 3/4, 28, my next target. Look at that chart. Look at that momentum. VHS in the semiconductor group broke through key resistance, double top. Now maybe running into the mid-high 30s. Wayfair, beautiful base, running up near resistance with a target of 75. We get to that. Looking for 85. WEAV, something I just saw, a base, a breakout, a flag, and another wedge, and a run up to resistance. And it looks like if this continues, I'm looking at 13.5 next target. XPEV, folks, this is my other electric vehicle from China manufacturer. I love this chart. Take a look at the last week. It went vertical. It's at a resistance level, the highest level reached since December, but I moved through here. I'm now looking for 17. XPO Logistics, one of the best trucking firms out there, is at an all-time high, folks, ever. I'm just looking at it this way. I'm going to project on a long-term basis, continue to hold this stock for a run that eventually doubles from here. YPF, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth wave is underway with targets at 18 and 25. South American oil and gas company. And that's it, folks. I have a lot of work to do over the next few days to really come up with a new box of shorts list, so I'm passing on that this weekend, other than to show you a few charts and why I'm passing, okay? APA is still looking bearish, but if oil does anything at all, and this gets through here, you want to cover that above 36.7. The next target on the downside, 30, and then maybe down in the mid-20s. Should oil come down where I think it might. AZPN still hasn't broken. I thought it would by now. Actually perked up a little on Friday. We do not want this to break back out, do we? But a rollover here could get us to 148 and 139. Capriza Tech traded swing short since 50 back in the beginning of March. It made it down to 34, and it doesn't look good. Kind of coiling negatively, targeting 32, 30, and 27. Another oil stock is Sinclair, or DINO. It's a 1, 2, 3 wave corrected bear, I think, but it might be a V bottom right hand of the platform. What we need is under 41.5 and a stop over 47. Devon Energy is another one forming a bear flag in a long downtrend. If it cracks, 44 and 38 are targets. The stop over 52. EPAM, negative, really long-term negative pattern, especially with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now this. So less reliable, but still a bear flag of sorts. If it does break, the targets are 194 and 175. Fluor and the engineering construction group is now back to the decline top line, and if it fails, the rollover could make it back to past 25, even 23. Guidewire broke out last week. It's now off my shorts list. MASI forming a bear coil, hasn't broken yet, but when it does, I can see 10 points down, followed by another 20. NFE, massive top breakdown, rising bear wedge, and a long bear flag. Obviously, anything above 31.5, 32 would be a stop. But for me, a breakdown to 25 could get you down to 19. Impinge broke down hard, but it bounced a little bit. There's looks like a double bottom there, and a trend line as well. So careful here, because if it doesn't break that, it might come right back to 115. If it does break, this could get very negative very fast. And finally, VLE, VTLE, another oil stock that I gave you back in I think it was 55 in February. I made it all the way down to the low 40s, 39.74 actually. And it's got a wedge, so I'm not sure if it breaks out or down, but if it breaks down, 36.5, 32 are targets. And folks, that's a brief look at the box of shorts, but an extensive look at the markets, the indices, the ETFs, the underlying technicals. And over 130 stocks on the long side that look phenomenal. But you didn't see the list of 30 or 40 I took off that look really good too, but I wanted to make it more manageable list. Anyway, that is it for this weekend. Enjoy your Sunday and your Tuesday, and I'll be there for you early on Monday for just a couple hours, and that'll be it. For now, HB out. Have a great rest of your weekend, folks.